What's up, folks? Good evening to all those of you in UK. Good afternoon to all those of you in US, and I guess good morning to all those of you in Australia, and good midnight to all those of you in this part of the world where I am. It's like 4:30 a.m. here in the morning here for me, and I'm going to be discussing the upcoming FA Cup fixture tonight with my friends today. With my friend today. Harry has joined me today already. So Winnie won't be able to join us. I think he has to take care of his son tonight. So which is cool. So tonight we will be discussing that fixture. We'll be discussing the possibilities that we have. Big up to every single one of you in the chat. Big up to my friend Bobby K. He's already there. Big up to Chris Agumbar. Thanks for joining us today. And all those of you in the chats, let us know your thoughts in the comments. What would you want to hear? If you have any questions, just put that up in the chat. But yeah, if you're someone who's watching this video later on, make sure you put your questions or your comments in the comment section as well. We would love to hear from you how you find the video. If there's anything you disagree or anything you agree with, just let us know your thoughts in the comments. And without further ado, I'm going to invite my friend and my fellow partner in crime for tonight's stream. It's none other than the guy you guys love. You know him, you love him. It's Harry Scarf. How you doing, my man? Are you there, bro? Harry, bro, are you there?
Oh, that's it. Very, very kind of you. Yes, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me on.
No, it's my pleasure to have you on, my man. So tell us, bro, what are your feelings going into this FA Cup fixture? Are you feeling nervous? Are you quite confident? Tell us.
I would say I'm not fully confident, but I'm confident enough that I think we can win the game. I think it all depends on the lineup. Obviously, I expect rotation, but I'm hoping for not too much rotation because I think that with Spurs, I think we know now that our second team, if you like, our B team, as people call it, isn't good enough to even beat the likes of Sheffield United. So I'm hoping to see rotation, but be respectful to this game because it's for example, Middlesbrough last year when we lost, small teams shown, the edgy FA Cup. That is the magic of the FA Cup, and it's broadcast for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that you point
There's a
out that
potential
point.
upset, and we mustn't underestimate Sheffield United.
Yeah, we must not underestimate that. I guess it's good that you point out as well the magic of the FA Cup. For Spurs, I think I've been a Spurs fan as well long enough, I think. And I guess you know the history as well that we have won this cup 7 times. At one point, we used to hold the record for being the most successful team in the FA Cup. Given that history and the past that we have in terms of the FA Cup glory, how important do you think this year this fixture is going to be for us? Like, do you think this is one of the important fixtures that we have this year compared to the Premier League fixtures that we have upcoming in this month? Of course, we have Champions League as well, which also takes a bit of a priority. Do you think that we should be putting a bit more of our best possible team for this kind of fixture, or do you feel that this is the kind of fixture we should be resting our players and work out the rotation in terms of things like, let's just say, for example, play Richarlison over Kane and things like that? What are your thoughts going into this fixture? Like, what do you think is the importance of this fixture, Harry?
Yeah, no, I want to see a very strong, lineup. I think it's a really important game. Being
Sorry,
honest
my
with you,
bad. I think somebody just
considering
corrected
we're
me.
a club
We
who
have
hasn't
won
won a
FA
major
Cup
trophy
eight
since
times.
2008.
Somebody just corrected me. I think we have won it 8 times. Mile High
Eight
Hotspur.
times. Yeah, there you go. 8 times.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
correct.
and for a team who hasn't won a major trophy since 2008, you've got to take any possibility or opportunity to win a trophy seriously. I think this is our best chance to win a trophy anytime soon, especially this season. So we must take it seriously. We don't want to disrespect Sheffield United, play the B team, and lose. It's just embarrassing. So we've got to get the job done. And if that means playing a full strength team, then so be it. what's the end of the world?
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I won't say that, yeah, we should be playing our B team, but do you think we should rest or play or give some of the players, like let's just say if at halftime you're 2-0 up, do you think you take off Harry Kane somehow for and rest him for the upcoming Wolves game, and also because we have the Champions League game, and I think this whole week we have games like every 3 days in a way. We don't have much time to even rest before the Champions League game as well. And even we it's a pretty tricky week. I mean, even being a content creator, I was kind of struggling this week how to put up all the content up. I am pretty sure that the players would be struggling even as well. They might be tired because I am doing like 3 or 4 streams only,
There's a lot.
and I feel
That's
like this is kind of stressful. But for players, they have to put all out their whole inner energy. What are your thoughts on that? Like, not necessarily the B team, but certain rotational changes. What kind of changes would you make? Like, let's just say if it would be you, what do you expect? Stellini, or if Conte would be back by then to work out with this kind of squad?
content. That's for sure. I have lots of content as scheduled. Yeah, very busy. I got 2 games this week and 2 important games. Conte and Stellini, as I said, bearing in mind fitness, fatigue, rotate when the game's done. Like you said, 2-3-0 up. Play the first team, and if you go 2-3-0 up, play really well, then that's the time to rest Kane. You're talking 70, 80 minutes. I mean, perhaps it's not ideal, but that you can't risk out of the possibility of getting knocked out of the FA Cup. The priority is getting through to the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, whether that means playing a full strength team, playing the B team, whatever it takes. You have to get through.
Yeah, I think Mile High Hotspur also
If you're
agree with you
Spurs.
that we should play our starters. Given that, yeah, we should play our starters. Now, there's another thing that we have been seeing very commonly as well. Recently, now we have started putting Richarlison actually in our starting 11. I mean, personally, I am not a fan of that particular choice, but what do you think like about that? Do you think that that is working out positively for us in the last 2 games, or it's just something that's like sort of an extra move? It just doesn't make a big difference, but you can do it to kind of like rest Sunny a bit. What are your thoughts on that?
I'm glad you brought this up. Actually, I think Richarlison's a big player and certainly a good player. Signed from Everton, not at a cheap price either. We all know what he's capable of. I think it's about finding the right position now. Yes, it may be to try and rest Son, but let's face it, this season Son's been very, very poor. So I don't think Richarlison has to necessarily play that well to get that team at the moment. I mean, I want to see Son getting back to his usual form, because I always say form is temporary, but class is permanent. I hope that does
Exactly.
also still come off with Son. But what we have seen this season for Son isn't good enough to guarantee you a place in the starting lineup. Richarlison, big money move. I think he's up there. I think people underestimate him. I think people say that he's a flop. He's this. He's that. But he hasn't. He's been suffered from an injury and hasn't been given the game time. Personally, I'd a different position. He's not his natural position being stuck out on the wing. I think he struggled against West Ham, but I think the whole front three did, being honest with you. Position, and I can't see it working until we've got a manager who's flexible, changes the formation.
So okay, sorry, Harry, I lost you there at the last pass a little bit. You were saying something about Richarlison being starting on as a striker, or you said that he's not a natural winger. I lost you there a bit just now.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to finish? Yeah, I said that he's not a natural winger. I said I don't think we're going to get. I don't think that's going to change until we get a manager who's flexible, willing to change the formation to suit players like him and players around him. So I think that's going to be an ongoing problem. He's been stuck out on wing. There's only so much you can do, not in a natural position.
Yep. I mean, I won't completely disagree with you on the Richarlison part. I don't think that I like, but I want one thing I agree with you that I don't think he is a bang. He's like a flop. But Richarlison over the past few months has looked to be pretty average since his World Cup heroics. I mean, he has come off the bench, and there's nothing much of a positive work given into the field play. But I understand as well he has been dealing with injuries and stuff. Whereas to me, actually, Sun has looked much better since January. If you look at Sun, like he has scored in one game, and then he had like the FA Cup. He had a brace, and then recently he had a goal in one of the games as well. Was it? Yeah, it was against West Ham. He has looked much better comparatively. So that's why I was surprised at why rest Sunny now. Like you should have rested him much earlier instead. This is kind of like a bit late. What do you think about that? Yeah, I'll go into the comment section as well. So, for example,
Yeah, I think
yeah, big up to
this
Daniel.
Kane
Like
walks
he's saying,
away.
rest Kane
Fair enough. I
will,
just look at it.
is a massive game for Champions.
Yeah, I agree, but
Then
I would
Yuma,
personally do that in the game if we're winning. It's interesting.
yeah, I
Yeah,
feel
but
so
Elias,
feel
about
so too.
Son, I think that, yeah, I don't think that he's there, top player, big game player as well. But I just think, right now he hasn't quite done enough to earn his place in the team, and Richardson's a free crack at it, and also to give Son a rest as well. Played in the World Cup, played a lot of minutes for Spurs. So it's a bit of both, really, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's pretty tricky with that whole Richarlison Sun situation. I mean, I would personally want to see Sun getting a bit more minutes because I feel lately he has been coming off a bit late, even in the minutes that he has been given. Like the last game, I didn't like the way he was only given like 20 minutes in the Chelsea game. I would have loved to see Sun more because statistically, actually, when Sun came on, he had more goal creating chances and he made a much better impact than Richarlison made in the whole game, which was kind of surprising. Surprising to me when I looked at the stat because Richarlison had a lot more time, and yet Sun was making a bit more difference. But I would like to
No,
go
true.
into
Yeah,
the comment that Daniel just made. Rest Kane will away is a massive game for Champions League football next season. Play Richarlison, Son, and then Yuma up front. Poro should play, and rest of the defense should stay the same. Daniel, like I'm just curious. Like, are you talking about the starting 11, or this is the kind of team you would put on? Like, let's say when we are ahead. Is this something that would you fully rest Kane, or just bring him on like a little bit late, or what are your thoughts? I'm interested to hear from you on that as well. But what do you think about this, Daniel? Sorry, Harry. Richardson is playing out of position. That's why he's not playing good. He's good when playing in the middle of the attack, not on wings and behind the striker.
yeah.
Uh, but do you think that yeah he can get that sort of a time in our team, playing as a striker, playing over Harry Kane, especially in crucial game because FA Cup fixture, although it is an FA Cup game, it's a cup game, it is still a crucial fixture for us. I mean, as we said that in terms of us winning a trophy, it is our best chance. Do you think it's worth giving Richarlison some time here? And I'll go into now the Sheffield squad as well, that because we can't underestimate them as well. So if you can highlight that a little bit, Harry, for us, please.
Yeah, many minutes and thrive in this team. I think it only takes a manager with a little bit of common sense, a little bit of flexibility, a little bit of decency, and a little bit of honesty to recognise Richarlison's played in a position he doesn't play at all. Brazil plays number 9. If you've got to have a manager, as I said, who has that common sense to watch Brazil and see he thrives in number 9 role and watch Kane and look how good creatively Kane is. I think he's up there, the best in the world, certainly the best in the league for me. I think if people say, "Oh, De Bruyne, Fernandez," for me, Kane surpassed that with his creativity, his passing. He has great vision. He's fantastic at that. I'd like to see Kane in the number 10 role, but I think that only takes common sense. If us fans can see it, why can't Conte and Stellini see it? I mean, Conte having this discussion, that's where he's an elite, manager and not an elite coach. He does well when he's got money to spend, and he is a very good tactic, bit of honesty, hold my hands up, I got this wrong, or seeing the obvious things like that and admitting his mistakes. He just can't do it, and that is frustrating. And I hope a new manager comes in and sees that straight away. Because if I was manager of Tottenham, the first thing I would do is recognise Richarlison's playing in the wrong place, put him as number 9, drop Kane deeper, change the formation to 4-2-3-1. For me, that's as much as you go. Spurs, that is the thing. That is why we're not higher in the table. That's why, we may not win a trophy this season. For me, that is just so obvious. I can't explain to you how obvious it is. And I hope Conte can see that, but he's certainly not doing anything about it. And because he's not flexible, he can't admit his mistakes. It's just so frustrating.
That's an interesting point you brought up. Although I would disagree a little bit there. I think it's the problem with a lot of us is that we expect a little bit more flexibility than we should usually have, because once you start doing that, like, I mean, let's just see what Potter is doing. He has been changing formations quite frequently, and it's been turning into his team being very confused. They all look kind of out of place. Whereas us, I think we have started to find our identity back in the 3-4-3 a lot more. Like, we are doing much better now in the system. So I would be a little concerned there. Like, let's just say if we were to now start playing 3-5-2 and drop Kane a bit deeper, or 4-3-3, I'm not too sure if that will work out at this point of season. Yeah, but Harry, continue there, please.
I personally think it will. I think we only got a team, lots of new signings, but he's also got younger players in Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek, Mount. He's not quite sure what his best team is, believe it or not, and that is one of the basics. First thing you do as a manager. Yes, I think we have got that, but I think walk into Spurs and you think the way to get Richarlison scoring, the way to get Kane at his absolute best, the way to get Son and Kulusevski on form, I think would to be play 4-2-3-1. I think I think that will suit both our fullbacks as well. You can play Davis left back. You can play with one less centre back. You haven't got to worry about the mistakes. Extra midfielder stops us from being outnumbered in midfield. For me, it's just so simple. To recognise that you've got players who cost a lot. We're talking 50-60 million in Richarlison, who isn't having an impact on the game. He's trying hard, but not having an impact because he's been stuck out on the wing, which he didn't play for Everton towards the end and doesn't play for Brazil. I could see him talking all day about it. It's that simple. That's what I would do if I was manager of Tottenham. Sadly, I'm not. I'm afraid you've got Conte, who elite manager, proven winner. Why am I questioning him? I just think he lacks that little bit of decency.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong being a little bit critical about that one. Like, a lot of people ask that particular question. But I think currently 3-4-3 is working for us. I personally feel that maybe I think our manager would stick to that at the moment. Maybe he might work out a 3-5-2, dropping Kulu deep or either Kane deep. But interestingly, I wanted to jump into another point because we want to keep this stream a little bit short. The squad of Sheffield, where do you think currently they have an edge or advantage over us? I don't know. Do you watch Championship football a lot, Harry? Because I'm kind of out of that thing. Like, if I were to say that I've watched Sheffield a lot, I think I'll be lying. Have you watched Sheffield lately? Where do you think, or what are their key players like? What are their strengths and what are their weaknesses? What kind of formation they play? If you can give us a little bit more insights into that, Harry, that would be really helpful.
Yeah, I don't watch Championship football a lot. Only when there's no football on TV and I've got a free, kind of evening, if you like. But for when I have seen Sheffield United play, whether it's on highlights or whether it's live or clips, anything I've seen, they are, doing really well in the championship under Paul Heckingbottom.
I
They're
think they're
doing really
second right
well,
in the
and we
championship.
mustn't underestimate that. Sorry.
They're playing. They are ranked second currently in the championship, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they're first or second. Yeah, they're certainly up there, and then which they're definitely for me, they're going up Premier League next season. That tells you all you need to know. They still got a good bunch of players from the Premier League experience in there, but also some youth, some quality youth in there as well. I think obviously being a smaller club, shows not small, no disrespect, but smaller than us. You're always going to be dangerous from set pieces, counter attacks, long balls, things like that. You just got to think about the basics in the FA Cup. So we must do the basics right, no mistakes, give 110%, get the job done, be professional, and you know, don't don't be Dr. Tottenham. Just do what you need to do what a big club would
I
do.
agree.
Go and play in a smaller club. You just got to do what you need to do to win the game. Thorough professional performance, get the job done. 70th, 80th minute. Hopefully, you can get to that point where you can rest some players and relax, knowing you're through to the quarterfinal. That's got to be the aim.
Yeah, I mean, I 100% agree with you there, because and who are their key players, if you can tell us, like, are they do they have any good defenders, or do they have more like good midfielders? Are they strong in the striking position? Do you know any of their key players, Harry? Have you watched them play
Well,
lately?
Sheffield United. I knew their squad probably. Being honest with you, last season. If I think they've got. I think they're defensively well built this season, like they were a bit in the Premier League, but also I know they can cause that problem going forward as well. So I think it's not going to be easy whichever way you look at it. Whether they're going to cause problems with set pieces like some clubs do, cause problems from long balls, counter attacks, whatever it may be. You mustn't underestimate them. You've got Billy Sharp for them up front, who, whether it's off the bench, whether it's starting, he scores you goals. They've still got, like they did in the Premier League, the John Flex, the Ollie Norwood in midfield. And they still have, reliable defenders, Egan, Rodwell, Stevens, Basham, like they did in the Premier League. Also top players, Ollie McBurney, they have, and also youth like Ryan Brewster as well. So, they have lots of, experienced players from the Premier League, but they also have young players coming through, whether that's in defence, attack, as well. So I think it's definitely a team. It's based on Sheffield United's, squad. That for me is a Premier League squad. And that is what people go into this and go championship side, roll them over, play the second team. I promise you, if we play the B team, we lose tomorrow, like we did at Middlesbrough, and we become a laughing stock again. Start the usual first 11, or as close to that as you can get. Then, like we said, 70th, 80th minute, hopefully 2-3-0 up, and you can rest players. If we're not in that situation, don't worry about it. The priority has got to be getting to the quarterfinal of the FA Cup, a trophy that we need and can win.
Yeah, I mean, as I'm looking at some of the recent games that Sheffield United played, they actually play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-1-2, which is pretty much like three at the
Yeah, it's
back,
usually
and similar system, right?
yeah, yeah, exactly. In the Premier League, they played that 3-5-2 with Heckingbottom. I think with Wilder as well. I think it was similar. So the Sheffield
Yeah,
United are a team that have their formation, they have their way of playing. They're built from defensive units. Yeah, they cause problems with McBurney, Brewster, Billy Sharp, and they
yeah,
have the midfield creativity. For me, their best player for me is Ollie Norwood. For me, I think we saw that knocking Wrexham out. Just clever
yeah,
bits from him. I think he's a talented player. I think he's a creative player that we should watch out for. Billy Sharp off the bench. You've got to watch him in the box. He's a goal scorer. Even at his age, he's a potent goal scorer. He scores you goals, scores you tap-ins, scores you goals where you need him. So Sheffield United are a team that are going to be in the Premier League next season and mustn't be underestimated. That's a
yeah. I
reality.
think they
Of
will
course, it's a
be.
game we should win, but it's a game we won't win with our second team.
Given what do you think about players like McAtee? James McAtee, I think he's a youngster, and I think he used to play for City. He has been currently playing in like that creative spot for them. Do you think that he's creative enough? Like he can upset our defense, because we have our liabilities in our defense as well. What do you think about that, Harry?
Yeah, he's another young player I completely forgotten about. Dangerous, creative as well. That we must, watch out for. And yeah, we've got 2 clean sheets in a row recently in the Premier League. Defended a lot better, but when you play the likes of Davis, Dyer, as much as I've defended them at times, they have a mistake in them, and one mistake cost us the whole FA Cup trophy. You just think about that, because I think if we win this game, you know, going to the quarter final. I mean, yes, you've got some harder teams left into it, but I feel so confident we're going to win the FA Cup if we win tomorrow. So one mistake could not only cost us the game, but a trophy. And when you're a club,
Yeah.
a big club that hasn't won a major trophy since 2008, I keep saying this, but it's important. You've got to take every opportunity to win a trophy so seriously. And the thought of people talking about resting and rotating players sickens me, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, you we should be rotating something, but you can't just put a B team up there. I guess that's what you're trying to say,
Exactly.
Harry.
Sensible
Yeah.
rotation to the game. I mean, maybe even dropping a couple of players, but I don't want to see Kane on the bench. Little things like that, or Romero. Big players like them have got to play. You need that heart of the team. Hoibergs need to play. Your Kanes need to play. Romero's need to play. Fraser Forster needs to play. Don't want to see someone like Brandon Austin being chucked in, given a
No, no,
start.
I
It's
won't
not a
trust him yet.
game for trialing things. It's a game for getting the job done. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is really not the game for trialing things, because it's a cup game. It's not a league
No,
game.
it's
In
not.
league game, I think there's still a bit of a error margin there. But here you don't even you lose one game and you're out. In fact, you can try things in the league itself.
This matters.
So
The FA Cup matters more than the league to me, because I know we're not going to win the Premier League.
yeah, I mean, we
It's
are not winning
impossible.
Premier League,
I mean, we can't
given
win where
that.
we are now, but even at the start of the season, it's so difficult. FA Cup, where we sit now, it's the easiest at the moment trophy for us to win, and I will take it. Go all out. Don't care where we finish in the league. Don't finish fifth, finish sixth, finish 10th, but win the FA Cup. Fine. FA Cup's got to be our priority. And people say, oh, how can we not accept finishing in the top four? It's that important that we win a trophy, that people need to get their priorities clear and straightforward. When you're a club that hasn't won a major trophy since 2008, one trophy in 22 years under these owners, you've got to win a trophy and take that opportunity. And we can't be talking about kids, in this game
I
that
can't
could cost
disagree with you
us.
there.
I mean, what happened against Middlesbrough? It
I can't
baffles
disagree
me.
with you
It
there.
really
Yeah,
does.
yeah. One concern on my end also is that we shouldn't be repeating the mistakes that we made against Middlesbrough last season, because that did cost us heavily. And I
Just
think we need to take this point, the fifth
Tottenham,
round, very seriously.
we never learn from our mistakes. Conte doesn't learn from his mistakes. It wouldn't surprise me if he says to Sleeney, "Oh, play B team," and we lose, we go out. That's his fault. Get rid of him. It's just things like that bug me. He doesn't learn from his mistakes. He doesn't admit his mistakes. And I can't believe I'm sitting here saying this, but I can't wait for Conte to go. He's not even here, and he's annoying me.
Okay. Well, I'll
That's
disagree with
reality.
you there, because I'm a bit of a Conte person, but I don't think that's the main
I
point of
was.
the discussion. But I would love to hear from you. What kind of what would your starting 11 look like?
Exactly the same team that beat West Ham and Chelsea, unchanged for me. That's the team that I want to see. It's the team that got 2 clean sheets. It's the team that won 2 London derbies in a row. And it's a team that got 6 points out of a maximum six. 2 London derbies, as I said, two 2-0 wins, 2 clean sheets. Why would you change something? So yeah, I can sit here and rant all day about Conte at the moment. I don't know why I've got it in for him tonight. I did this
Who have
morning,
you
but
been
I haven't been
streaming
able to
with
think
lately,
about
by the
it.
way?
What's
Just
that?
kidding. I'm thinking like who is influencing you lately? Because the last time you came on my stream, you were like, "I'm going in."
Yeah, well, I'm just sitting here thinking about the formation, thinking this guy doesn't admit his mistakes, doesn't change his ways. He's like a stubborn witch, if you like. He's like this old figure that doesn't, old hag, if you like, that doesn't change, his ways. It just bugs me sitting there. I could go on about it the whole time about things, I'm not an expert, but I believe tweaking little things like formation, like just admitting your mistakes, could change. We would have won the trophy by now if managers like Mourinho and Conte admitted their mistakes and just used a bit of common sense that you would have thought an elite manager had. But hey ho.
Yeah, I mean, I do agree with you there that yes, certain form of flexibility is needed in your formation. However, I think it's just the way Conte play. He just has his identity, and you can't take a manager's identity out of it, because not many managers at that elite level adjust to at that point. Before we end, what would be your score predictions like for the game?
Score predictions. I'm going to go 2-1 Spurs. Hopefully, we see a strong team. If I see the team tomorrow and you've got the likes of Tanganga starting, even there's talks of the possibility of Brandon Austin starting goal, Kane dropped, Richards, I'm sorry, Romero dropped, Hoiberg dropped. If I can't see it, if we see things like that, then we lose. Promise you, battered as well. But yeah, I'm going 2-1 Spurs, and I hope, have trust in Stellini. He'll go for a positive lineup. Let's say Conte says to him, play the second team. If I was Stellini in that situation, I'd completely ignore him and go with a full strength team. And that's what you would do if you cared about the club. Conte, I'm sure the passion's there. You can see he loves the game, but he's just thinking, rotation. Whereas us fans, we want to see us winning things. We want to see us winning that game. Playing our second team isn't going to win us the game. That's the reality.
Yeah,
So
man.
yeah, 2-1 Spurs.
I will go with 3-1 Spurs. Maybe I'm a little bit confident about this game. If let's say we play the squad that you mentioned from the West Ham and the Chelsea game, I think we can go with a 3-1 win. And I would love to see Son starting actually over Richarlison, in my opinion. I would play Richarlison. Maybe if let's say if we want to rest Kane, in that case, bring him on much later. But I'll go for 3-1 win. But Harry, thanks for joining me today. I think you have to leave soon already. Before we end, actually, I just wanted to mention our dear friend from the Arsenal side. Actually, he just recently passed away, and he has gone home with the Lord. His name was Steve Fleetley. I think Harry used to know him quite well, and uh, I got to know him actually through some of my friends closely, who used to do some streams with him. He just passed away, I think, like yesterday, and we want to just take a moment of silence, maybe. And Harry, if you have anything that you would like to say about him, about a friend of us, like, I mean, football rivalry aside, I think it's all about community, and it's all about people that we know across the clubs and all that, because ultimately that's all that matters. I mean, sports bring people closer and together. I heard some really great things about this guy, Steve Fleetley, if I'm not mistaken, his name was. And if you would like to shed some light on his life and how was your time with him, Harry, feel free to.
Thank you. Yeah, I think this is time to put football rivalry aside. I didn't know Stephen personally, but I was a big fan of his content. I knew his videos, and they inspired me. Despite him being an Arsenal, I like the way he done things. I think he was really good at what he done. This is time to put football rivalry aside. And my thoughts and condolences. Go out to his family and friends. At this very difficult time, and hope rest in peace. He's gone. He'll never be forgotten. And this is a time where people got to recognise the football rivalry aside and see the bigger picture here. People's lives, do come first. And in this situation, we've got to, recognise what Stephen's done. He's inspired so many, including myself, and produced some great content. So yeah, rivalry aside, rest in peace, Stephen. And as I said, the thoughts and condolences go out to his family and friends, because it is, such a sad and difficult time. Yeah, so rest in peace, Stephen.
Yeah. Yeah, by the way, I heard some really great things about Steven. Like, despite the fact that he was battling his liver disease, he actually fought through it really well for 20 over years. And I think I really
Great guy.
applaud that guy. I mean, and even like I was hearing from some people that when his some of us, like some one of the YouTubers was saying, like, when some of our channels get monetized, we tend to like spend over and get some getaways and stuff, like maybe yeah, I mean, we tend to spend it on ourselves and things like that. But when he got monetized, he actually opened a charity for the child liver disease. And I'm actually going to share the link in the chat as well for those of you who would like to contribute towards Steven's charity. He opened a charity called for to help those children who suffered like him, to help them. And I've just shared the link in the chat. If any of you would like to contribute and want to make a donation or something and spare some change, please feel free to. That would really help him, and that would really help continue his legacy as well. And really, I mean, I'm proud to have these kind of people in the community as well, who think of things just beyond football and beyond sport as well, because ultimately sports is for humans, not that humans are for sports. And really lovely to hear that from you, Harry. uh, and I really respect this individual as well. May his soul rest in peace. And yeah, I'm deeply saddened by hearing about this as well, because he was really young, like 28. I mean, someone just begins their life at about that
Too
age.
young.
They're going into that season. um like, I mean, it's really a loss in this community. And my utmost condolences to all his friends, his family members, and everybody who knows him in the YouTube family community of football. uh really sad to hear that. And mm, yeah, may his family have find patience in the Lord, and they continue to come out of this grieving season. um but thanks for mentioning that, Harry. Really appreciate it. Yeah.
Thank you.
And I think we'll be ending here soon. Today we want to just keep it very quick. I just want, before I go on, I just want to mention to everybody. Actually, I'll be out for the next 3 days. I won't be doing any live streams for the Wolves game, but I will upload a video to just share my thoughts with one of my friends or the Wolves game. I would be uploading it probably by Friday night. And then I'll be back for the Champions League review on Sunday night. I'll be reviewing the Champions League late Sunday night. I think it will be nighttime in the Eastern Standard Time there. So I'll be doing that on Sunday, and then I'll be back with some content over the Premier League next week once I'm back from my trip, because I'm having a work trip actually in the next 3 days. So I'll be kind of out from a bit of an action. Um, but if any of you would like to get in touch with me, have any questions, have any ideas, any suggestions, contact me via Twitter at Step Up Spurs on both Twitter and Instagram. And you can drop me a comment in the comment section as well. I would love to get in touch with you guys. And Harry, tell us where we can find you next. Would you be at Parkland Podcast, or your own? What are you up to? What you will be doing next?
Thank you very much. I do have a busy week of content scheduled for people who, follow my YouTube channel. If you like Scarfy Spurs Talk, people may know me as a co-host of Park Lane Podcast every Saturday with Luke, with Winnie, with Dave. Yeah, I'm the co-host of Park Lane Podcast. That is every Saturday, but we're coming up with more content. Also, the founder of Scarfy Spurs Talk, which is a fan channel, basically independent hub, transfer news, post-match reactions, player ratings, pre-match previews, so much content live, shows every Monday 8 p.m, which you can now listen to on Spotify. Got a new partner for the channel, Insecurity VPN. So if they are watching, also massive shout out to them. So you've got a lot going at the channel at the moment, and thank you all for your incredible support in 2023, and a massive thanks to Elias for having me on once again on Step Up Spurs. I've said, before,
My pleasure.
a great channel, has a great future, and will grow. Elias knows what he's doing. Great guy as well. So thank you very much for having me on again, and I wish you and your channel all the best in the future.
Yeah, by the way, for those of you who haven't subscribed to Harry's channel, the link is in the chat. So please go and
Thank you.
subscribe to that. And I think I have also dropped the link of the Park Lane podcast in the description as well. I would love to have a
Oh,
chat
thank
with
you.
Luke one day as well from Park Lane podcast. We might have him even sometime soon.
Yeah,
I'm just yet to get in
drop him a
touch with him.
DM. Drop me a DM on Twitter. He
Yeah,
will respond
I
to you.
will.
He's a
I will.
great
So
guy, Luke.
Parkland Podcast channel link is in the description, and Harry's channel link is in the chats. So make sure you guys subscribe to both of them if you would like to catch Harry a bit more and hear his interesting thoughts actually on the games and on the analyzing part of the whole club. Really lovely to have Harry as always. Like he has become a great friend recently, or just few streams with me. Great to have this guy really. Thank you so much, Harry, once again.
Absolute
And as
pleasure.
and as always, come on, you Spurs.